March 22nd, 9:47 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 3. Adrian did it. That's what it looks like. Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that. In court today, there'll be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there is someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Please, Mr. Lawyer. Dude, like I said yesterday, I'm refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? I can't let any sort of scandal ruin that. I understand. What do we reckon? We reckon this is, Edgelord? Well, it's almost time. No, it's Mia. Hello, Mia. We must get a complete acquittal today. I know. But I can't focus on Maya's situation right now. Or your ample situation. I'd be distracted. Or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of today. It's going to be very hard. All day. Indeed. Well, let's get going. It's him. What happened with the escapage? This is right. Good morning. This is it, Mr. Tony. The day of the trial. Maya, she's unharmed, right? Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how you say, tired. Don't worry. People don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. For my sake as well as yours, you must win today's trial. Which is why I sent you a little present this morning. Present? What in the world would you want to give me? You'll figure it out once the trial starts. And even if you don't like my gift, I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest if you please. Wait. The kidnapper sent me a present? Mr. Lawyer, dude, who was that? No one. Has nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything. Dude, did your nose just get longer? What happened with that bit back in time? Court is now in trial. In session for the trial of Matt on guard. Are the prosecution and defense ready? Defense is ready, Your Honor. That's interesting. I said, Mr. Wright, what happened to Miss Von Karma? I don't know, Your Honor. Maybe we just acquit? I think that's the rule in made-up legendary legal land, yeah? If the prosecution doesn't show up, you must put up a verdict of not guilty? Your Honor. Please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. If you must tell me something, please keep it brief. Now then, what is it? Prosecutor Von Karma. This morning, Miss Von Karma was shot by an unknown gunman. Oh, that must be the present. What? Shot. Somehow, I think this present that man was talking about is present. Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she were to disappear, it would be to your advantage. This is totally insane. Miss Von Karma, is she alright? I don't have that answer. She's alive and in stable condition. That's good news. Phew. I thought he'd show up. Your Honor, due to the circumstances, Miss Franziska Von Karma cannot appear in court today. That's one word. Anyway. I, Miles Edgelord, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready. Naturally. When he says naturally like that, part of me thinks that Mia looks at Phoenix and said, I told you they were real. Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Luckily, I have looked this case over and am familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt on guard. The court acknowledges the prosecution. Right. I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my long journey this past year. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. Witness, your name and occupation. I would like to call the witness Detective Gumshoe to tell us what his name and occupation is. My name is Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective, which is why people call me Detective Gumshoe, including yourself, literally less than 1 minute ago. It's possible for someone with the first name Detective to not become a police officer. It's cruel of me to stereotype like that. Okay, fair enough. But then why does he have to tell us his name? For now. After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir. Detective Gumshoe. The prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head up and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes, sir. Now let's have your testimony. If we wanted to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that. Get ready, Phoenix. This is going to be one very hard fight. Yeah, it would have to be with Edgelord as my opponent. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgelord. Bare facts of the case. This murder happened after the Hero of the Ward ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Corrida, was found dead in his hotel room. He was stabbed about 1/4 of an inch into the chest once through a thick costume. It was an extremely slow bleed to death. We estimate 2 to 4 hours after the stabbing. He had to do some exercise though, because with the knife still in the wound, the blood stopped like literally 30 seconds every time. He had to kind of force it out himself. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. At first we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found out that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. After the award ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room. Yes, sir. Both the victim and the defendant were alone in their room, sir. That is not correct. I see, Mr. Wright, you may want to begin your cross-examination. Yeah, we got the first one. There's a couple of issues here, I think. Murder happened after the Hero of Heroes Award ceremony, don't care. Victim Juan Corrida was found dead in his hotel room. It was after that. Victim Juan Corrida was found dead in his hotel room. I got it the wrong way. Okay. Why did you think that? Because it was empty, pal. The Gem Ninja doesn't go anywhere without his bright red guitar. And we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime. Well then, how about this theory? A fan really wanted a guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that? I mean, like, that was the first thing that I was thinking. You know, way back at the start, someone's stolen the guitar. And we thought of that too, but... The only fingerprints on the guitar case were the victims. Only the victims, huh? So I see. So much for my theory, then. Okay, fair enough. Only his fingerprints. However, we later found out the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder, yeah. Wait. Didn't they say they were in their rooms together? I thought he said something about how they were in their rooms together. Like they were the only ones in their room. And I said, we know that's not true because... And I was thinking because he had dinner with Adrian. The cause of death? Wasn't that because Mr. Creeder was stabbed in the chest? Only a Kareth amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal. Take a good hard look at the crime photo. Well, I mean, that's why we think it's ridiculous. And look, here's that drink. It's in the photo. Which makes sense because it was in the room afterwards. Now, real pros attention would be drawn here to this bandana. Oh, what, he got strangled? Banana. Oh my god, Jed. What is wrong with you? His bandana, sir. Not his banana. Not that there's anything wrong with that, the ladies love it. But, you know, that's the thing wrapped tightly around his neck, sir. Oh, yeah. His, banana-scented bandana. That's what I meant to say. What about the knife? It seemed to have been stuck in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. We have a crafty murderer on our hands here. So we got a new autopsy report. Strangled with a scarf, then stabbed with a knife. Why did you think that? I think we're a bit out of order here. It was empty, pal. Yeah, he doesn't go anywhere without his guitar. Couldn't find it anywhere at the scene, and we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime. And how about? Okay, he did that. We did that. Okay, fingerprints. So what the other guitar? There's another guitar one. However, later we found the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder, and that's because of the fingerprints, right? What convinced you it had nothing to do with the case? The guitar wasn't at the Gatewater Hotel that night. Well then, where was it? The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Carita, apparently only taken the case with him, sir. How does he not notice the case is too light? You mean he forgot to put the guitar inside the case? Yes, sir. Even when he was on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar. So the guitar case was empty even before he got to the hotel. Yeah, that's right. It really had nothing to do with the case after all. believe that is enough. It makes no sense. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. The knife brings you to your next point? Bit rough. Why then did the police arrest Matt on guard? Because there was reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes, looks like edgelord's back in full swing. Very well, Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter. Yes, sir. Why arrest on guard? On guard. Matt on guard and Juan Corrido were huge rivals with each other. They each thought the other's guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's button. It was ripped off the ninja costume and found Mr. Engard's hakama. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. The defendant bought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. No, it's from his dinner plate, right? So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing. Sort of thicky on the handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir. Yeah, and the grip gate order is engraved. And there's this button. That was found in the defendant's clothes, was it? And this button also covered in blood. How did it get covered in blood? The blood had to be added after it died. Yes, and we know that the blood on it is the victim's blood, sir. What? Jammin' Ninja's bloody button added to the court record. All of this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it? Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet, right? Not yet, edgelord. I'll find the hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you'd like. Just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. Grr. I rest on guard. The biggest issue I saw was the bought the knife. He didn't buy the knife. It came with the hotel. It probably makes sense that's motive, if it was true. The button's a weird one. I don't know how we're going to present that. There is no way this was a premeditated murder. Even if he bought the knife. He didn't buy the knife. Sorry, pal. This isn't some pocket knife. Doesn't fold, so it's not great for walking around with either. If the prosecution can prove it was a premeditated murder, we're done for. Phoenix? Yes? There's something very interesting about what the detective said just now. Think carefully before it's too late. Button covered in victim's blood and knife with on guard's fingerprints. Be grateful. If the judge were more rash, he would have already pounded his gavel in closing. We're still in a world of trouble. Well, before any battle, you must find your enemy's weakness. So let's find the weakness in this testimony, no matter how small it may be. Okay, Phoenix? Okay, Mia. No, I want to talk about the knife. He did not buy this knife, you moron.
Objection!
Wait a second. What? So the basis of your argument this was premeditated murder is simply that My client bought a knife beforehand. That's right, pal. The defendant did not buy this knife. Huh? Take a good look at the handle of this knife, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Huh? Gatewater. I think I've heard that name somewhere before. That's the name of the hotel. The Gatewater Hotel. Uh-oh. The murder knife was actually property of the hotel. Which means this murder was not premeditated. Which still doesn't change the fact that if he did do it. But we know he didn't. Yes, that is very true. This is very big. What is it, Mr. Edgelord? I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. What? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I bet this knife is hotel property. There is no one currently on the police force that is dumb enough not to realize this. But I did... Oh. The question is... where did this knife come from? Oh, it's obvious. It came from the victim, Mr. Kurita's room. No, it came from the plate. So the fact that he took it across the hall is going to make it a premeditated. Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. Yeah, the victim ate a last meal before he was murdered, without that being the case. I'd like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table. Mr. Kurita. There's a knife and fork on the table. And... it pleases the court. I'm trying to think this through. I would like us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Matt on guard. Especially what was on top of his table. There is something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife. We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came up to the conclusion that Mr. Matt Engard's knife was missing. Yeah, this isn't looking good, boys. Mr. Engard had gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven this was a premeditated murder. Yeah, but not by Matt on guard. Amazing, Mr. Edgelord. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction. It seems like Edgelord had this planned from the very beginning. Must have been one of those traps I just walked headlong into. Murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. There is quite a sizable amount of evidence here. I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of Your Honour's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defence were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. He means evidence that the court hasn't seen yet any. In other words, new evidence. What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright? Well. Karma got shot, Valkyrie. Phoenix. The judge is favoring the prosecution right now. The gavel of his will be ringing out to the sound of our defeat. Mr. Wright, do you have something important and necessary to present to this court? Maybe. I'm going with a maybe. There's one. Shot as in gunshot or step down? I don't know what step down shot is in, but as in gunshot. What is it? One piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something this court has yet to see. Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to continue at all. However, I'm giving you one chance, and only one. The judge is saying, right, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. I mess this up, it's curtains for all of us. You may now present one and only one piece of evidence. Now then, what is this important evidence that you must show to the court? This is a wine glass, is it not? Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken, his makeup is all over the floor. These were all the things at one point sitting on top of the dresser. Well, yes, I see your point. However, this glass that is sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched. The only thing that had not fallen over along with everything else is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. And she's like, eh. Well, what do you all have to say? Well, yeah, it is a little peculiar. Yes, isn't it? I thought it was. You can stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgelord. What is it, Your Honor? Your opinion. You don't need my opinion. Because there is no special meaning to that glass. What? It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking. That does sound very plausible. Mr. Wright? Could Miss Andrews really have set the glass down without thinking it? There's no way. I appear weak here, the trial is over. We don't want the trial to be over. I can look for my proof later. Yeah, let's bluff. And for now I should trust my instinct and point Sony. They might just fall for it if you're thought-provoking enough. I think you can be thought-provoking enough. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table. You've turned her, or even turnabouted, The situation on its head yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgelord, do you have any proof to back up your claim? There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing. Good one, spiky hair. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have evidence to support it. What? I'm not thinking hard enough today, Wright. What does he mean? Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice? Then... Of course it has been thoroughly inspected. For fingerprints. Fingerprints? Only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass. Only one? They were not the victims nor the defendants, rather they were one Adrian Andrews. What? That is why I asked that the person who has discovered the body had left it there. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? I don't know about it. What are you playing at? Can't believe I fell into another trap. Miss Andrews is probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Corrida. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser. No, it's the red wine. From his room, not from their room. It's not the red wine. It's not red wine, it's tomato juice. From the tomato juice bottle. Maybe. What you just said makes a lot of sense. Now do you see, right? We can't change any part of my scenarios. It explains everything all too well. I thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I will show you the answer I have come to discover. Wait a second, Mr. Edgelord. I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict. Objection. Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. Prosecution has yet another witness we would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff, please bring in the next witness. Oops. Something. It's Wendy. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. I believe she's wearing the helmet. Please fire the gun. Witness, your name and occupation, please. Nice. Hello. Gotcha. Grr. Oh, edgy boy, it's been, what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me. I saw the report, her testimony, but who knew that under that helmet? It was the Wicked Witch of the witness stand. I'll pay that one. I'll tell you, this time I know what I'm supposed to do. So today I'm going to tell you anything and everything. Even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime. Please don't. That terrible crime is all this court needs to know. Rat-tat-tat. Oh, shit, I'm talking my dear Edgy Wedgie right now. Edgy Wedgie. Edgy Lorgie. Don't interrupt us, Gramps. Yes, madam. No, please, by all means, interrupt her. Please. Anyway, witness your testimony, please. It's true what they say, that you're the hothead nowadays. Not that I mind at all. Edgy. Now then, what should I start with? The witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Is this correct, Miss Oldbag? It was a great job being able to see my dearie Juan. I almost too much for my little heart to handle. You mean you were a fan of the victim? Look, everyone is crazy over that on guard saying he's cute in a fresh way or something. But not me, I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a little child like him. I'm only interested in a real man. Juan Corrida. But those two were the same age. Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night. Very well, please tell the court what you witnessed the night of the murder. Leave it to me, Edgy Poo. Anyway, after the controversy, I went to pace around the room hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It's a man coming out of Paul Wan's room. It was on guard, Matt on guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Wan's room. So Mr. On Guard came out from the victim's room. See, it has to be him. He's the murderer. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. After the ceremony, we don't care. There was something she was interested in finding out. What was that something? Something you were interested in. And just what was that? Not just some little thing. I could just go around telling everyone, you know. It's top secret between me and Juan. It's not top secret anymore. Juan is dead. Tell the court. I'm edgy poo, of course. Says Lord, what is this thing she was interested in? I have no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor. To prove relevant, we can always have it appended to a testimony later. Yeah, gossip, eh? It looks like we shouldn't force it right now. Did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time? Okay. The man coming out of poor Juan's room. So my client, you sure about that? Yesy. Really? I mean, brat, when I say I saw someone, I saw that person. Well, last time you saw that person, it wasn't that person. Yeah, what I guess is deja vu. Maybe to avoid a repeat of last year, should delve into this bit further. That's what I was thinking, but yeah. Person's face. Please tell the court about the man's face in more detail. You don't need me to tell you about his face. That soft, gentle look in his eyes, his effeminate lips, his right eye covered by his silky hair, his sparkly shining teeth. She's just giving us his cover shot. His teeth were shining. This week's pinups. Why do you? I mean, I don't care how he looks in this week's issue. Please say what you saw that night. That's exactly what I was thinking. And Guard's face is the same no matter where it is, you know, you whippersnapper. She didn't see it, that's why. So, Mr. Wright, is this testimony just now important or relevant anyway? Well, Mummy. It was very important. Of course it was important, Your Honor. Objection! Perhaps you'd like to point out what part of that testimony was important. You don't really have to put it that way to get me to say, Mr. Wright, there's something much more valuable than a person's pride. That is time. Please don't waste this court's precious time with worthless questions. Yes, Your Honor. wasted his good favour. She may not remember things or be mistaken here and there, but I don't think she's lying. That's bad for us. Really bad. But that's how a human mind is. Also has a tendency to jump off topic. She's strayed onto a few interesting side topics this time too, hasn't she? But that's what makes her a sweet old lady, right? No. That's because you're not the one who has to question her. What are the other options? She told us too when we spoke to her in the lobby that she is practiced that's why she was able to give us the pin-up photo. She wants to put okay. She's giving false testimony, but she's practiced at it. That's why they asked for clothes. She's making this up. You saw my client. Are you sure about that? Yes, really? Knowing brat, when I say I saw someone, I saw that person. Yeah. She'll make something up. Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail. What a troublesome man you are, really, as if something like that matters. But it does. Now, what was it about? Oh, yes. It was that thing. What thing? That gaudy thing he's always wearing. That racing jacket. He was wearing that detention center. No, he was wearing that at the detention center too. That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Men. Alright. So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important? Yes. It was very important. Of course it was important, Your Honor. Because she's lying and we can prove it. Then perhaps you'd like to point out what part of that testimony was important? Don't you see, Edgeworth? Edgelord? Your Honor, I request what the witness said about the jacket be appended to her testimony. Don't quite see where you're going with this, but alright, witness, please. Well, I don't like to badmouth anyone without reason, but if I must. He was wearing his flashy racing jacket. Honestly, it's all for show. This old bag. What? Don't say my name for no reason. Do you know what this is? It's a button, number 2 on the Jammin' Ninjas costume. Oh, I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified in a single glance. Give it here, give it here. If you don't give it to me, I'll punish you with this. This button was discovered on Mr. Engard's body during a full body search. See? See? This button proves beyond a shadow of doubt it was that rascal Engard. He was just caught up in the pleats of his nickel samurai Hakama pants. See? See? And Engard is the nickel samurai. Engard is the nickel samurai, yep. Yep. Witness. I just try to get past it, waha. Now, it may just be me. They do have an active imagination. But just now, didn't you say that the defendant, Matt Engard, was wearing his usual racing jacket? I'm so sorry. Sorry that you judge people based on what they wear. If I wore the trendiest dress, then maybe you'd think I was, but instead I have to put up with looking ridiculous outfit. You agree, but this is hideous, right? I got a tape recorder stuck on my jacket. It's heavy, so heavy, I wish we'd all be switched it. Dream life for those kids out there. Understand now. Take a look in the mirror. Your documented curly as you could. Now hold your tongue still for 1 second there. So what you saw in actuality was not Mr. Ungard the man, but Mr. Ungard the Nickel Samurai. When you think about it, they're really one and the same anyway. This whole bag is a very important point we're talking about. Edgy Poo, do you think so too? Well, it might be something worth considering. You say it's important we can agree with me for a change. Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify. Alright, if you insist. I should be the one sighing, not you. Who I saw. Oh god. Oh god, yes, now I remember. The Nickel Samurai, that's right. It was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. Would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know. So he must have worn the Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. But you said you saw him wearing the things. He's clearly lying. Just throw her out, Judge. I knew it. I knew you'd say he was inside that costume. What? Did you think there could have been someone else inside that costume? Don't be a bad little boy, thinking such rude things. But the possibility does exist. Ah, youngins today, I told you, there is no way it was anyone else. How do you know that? As I said so, and what I say is the truth. At least she's just as delightful a witness as she was a year ago. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Do we really have to? Alright. Must have worn the Nickel Samurai costume. We have... Where's the picture? Can I have a look at that? And that. No fingerprints. Have become the Flash. I mean, it still could be him in there, in which case he'd be leaving his own fingerprints. But that's not reason why his fingerprints are on that knife. Objection! Please take a look at this. Yeah, that's a knife. Big deal. If you're trying to scare me with that, I'll have you know it won't work. No, it's not my intention at all. That's the knife that was used in the murder, correct? Your Honor, do you know why this piece of evidence is important to this case? You don't even have to ask. It's because the defendant's fingerprints are on it. Is that what you're driving at? Pretty much, yeah. That is exactly what I'm driving at. What are we driving at, and whose car are we driving at with? Mr. On Guard is really in the Nickel Samurai costume at the time of the murder. Yeah, but then it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on this knife. Actually, he would have wiped all fingerprints on this knife right off. Oh, that's right. The Nickel Samurai wears gloves, doesn't he? He probably took his gloves off before he began the stabbing. No, that's dumb, and you know it. Objection! And why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on the murder weapon? There's no way he would do something like that. However, there is one possibility. Then let's hear your possibility. It's very simple. The defendant went to the victim's room while in costume as the Nickel Samurai. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. He was probably just going to relax and talk with the victim about the stage show. Which is why he took his gloves off. But the murders did still take place. It's well known that there was bad blood between the defendant and the victim. Yes, I have heard that before. Oops. Okay. No intention of killing him. Now at this point, there are any problems with this theory? I don't know. My throat okay? A little bit. I'm just, it's a lot of voice acting. So I've just got a little bit of a cough. Not a cough, just a bit of a dry. There has to be problems, right? Yeah, but it's not really in the throat, it's much higher. Like almost at the back of the roof of my mouth. This theory contradicts something in an earlier testimony. What are you babbling about? Now, for argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. On Guard was the killer, if that's the case. I think it's impossible for the killer to have gone to the victim's room without an intent. Oh, why? Oh, because we're presenting the knife again. Because the knife is from his room. Take that! This knife, this was used by Mr. On Guard at dinner. Yes, we did establish that. Which means that if my client was in fact the killer, then he brought his knife with him when he went to visit Mr. Kurita. I suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At the time, the defendant held no intent to murder. If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he? Which means, Mr. Edgelord, your theory was flawed from the supposition one. And one more thing. If the murderer was wearing the costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks left on the knife. Which means the defendant's fingerprints shouldn't be all over it like bees on a hive. That brings me to my final point. This knife was planted by the real killer to hide their identity and mislead us. Order? Order, I say. Order in the court. Was this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing? To hide and to frame. They're both good. No, I mean, they don't need to hide the murder method because it gets found anyway, and it got found out anyway. It's purely to frame, right? It's to frame my client, Mr. On Guard, of course. To frame. Objection! Aren't you forcing the interpretation just a little too hard on this one? Objection! We just established that the witness saw the Nickel Samurai in costume. or she's lying. And if that were true, then there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on this knife. Witness! It looks like I've made your life a little bit more difficult, huh, Edgy Poo? Witness, did you or did you not really see the Nickel Samurai? I guess at first I might have forgotten, but... Are you saying you mixed up Mr. On Guard with the Nickel Samurai, his character on TV? But I mean, I can't really do anything about that now. Look, I was waiting around in front of their doors because, well, I wasn't waiting around for the Nickel Samurai. That's for sure. She wasn't waiting for the Nickel Samurai. Alright then, who were you waiting around for then? That's top secret to anyone outside of security? That's bullshit. I have a feeling you were waiting for Mr. Juan Corrida, am I correct, witness? Okay, so it's not Juan. Well, you think you're a sad amateur with a terrible case of nearsightedness. Amateur me? What am I an amateur of? Old Bag was waiting around in front of the victim's room. It doesn't sound like she was waiting to catch a glimpse of Mr. Corrida. Maybe. Phoenix? Maybe the old bag was waiting around for that person. If it's who I think Mia's hinting at, it's certainly possible. Miss Oldbag? You were waiting around for this person to come out of the victim's room, weren't you? Who is this person? This is Adrian Andrews, Mr. Unguard's manager. But why would the defendant's manager be in the victim's room? It seems that this is the latest rumor in circulation, Your Honor. Oh, this is, I see. The judge seems to be really into the article, if it can be called such a thing. And this manager with the initials AA, are you saying it's... Adrian Andrews? Without a doubt, the witness thought so as well. Looks like you found me out. Well, that's fine. I can throw away this whole sworn to confidentiality stuff then. Witness, what in the world are you... Watch out, Phoenix. I've got a bad feeling about this. A very bad feeling. I've got some information. Some very secret information from a certain source. So that's why I was doing my own little investigation. In secret, of course. But what for? Just for myself. Personal reasons and all that. This poor judge. Well, Mr. Edgelord, how will you proceed from here? I really don't want to do this, however I cannot simply let this point slide. I see. Very well then. Witness. Please testify about this secret information. Get ready. This is going to take the wind out of you, young'uns. I'm sure we're all capable of handling this. Really, it's not like we're 10 years old. Oh, Phoenix. Here we go. Yeah, buckles up anyway, that's right. That on guard is one evil man. He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with Juan. I cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. Oh, and this is top secret, you got that? Nobody else but you and me know yet, okay? And the entire courtroom. The defendant sent his manager. What a distasteful topic for this court. Wait, nobody's above gossip. And isn't there a saying, the truth is never pleasant? No, that's not a saying. Nor is it accurate. Never heard that one before. Me either, Phoenix. Mr. Edgelord, what about this Adrian Andrews person? We have looked into this matter and found the truth article proposes is in fact baseless gossip. But should this be true, then this proves that the defendant did bear ill will towards the victim. So this means I have to smash this rumor once and for all. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Be careful. The old bag seems rather excited now. That's right. Ungard is nothing but average foul-blooded youth. Well, as the old saying goes, you've got to burn old bags with fire. Oh, yeah, see, everyone knows that. That's common knowledge, that one. Time to fire up the afterburners and hit the highway to the danger zone. That's too far, Phoenix. Boom, 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 boom. Alright, Ungard is the evil one, apparently. Just making this up. That's an interesting one. But she's just making it up. Here's the thing, everyone knows this, and we know it's made up. Wait. What? I'm a busy woman. Tea time with the kids is over. What is wrong with it? Secret information that no one else knows yet? If that's true, then how do you know this secret information? Huh? Because I'm a pro. Yeah, that's it. Not buying it. It's a secret. Even if you drilled a hole into my brain, you'll never find out. How in the world did that old bat get such a secret piece of information? She found the camera. So no one else is supposed to know this secret information, correct? If that's true, then why do you know it, Miss Old Bag? Why are you looking at me like that? Stop that! Witness? I hate to say this, but this is how you came to acquire your secret info, isn't it?
Take that!
The investigative photographer, Lotta Hart. Oh yes, I remember that mischievous girl. She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself. She reported such a thing? On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her outer impressions about the relationship between the victim and Miss Andrews. What outrageous ideas you say? I don't know. I said impressions. Then everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless? Ah, that's it. That's the note. No, you see, it's something completely different. This is my top secret list of groceries to buy. If we drilled a hole into her head, there's a very real chance I'd kill her, as I do not have the proper certification to perform such an operation. Probably. Then you are the one who took Miss Hart's note. I'm a huge fan of Wands, that's why. That's infamous puffy head whippersnapper. She's working with that evil Ungard. She said to herself, Ungard, I'm his sidekick. She was so happy, smiling like a silly duck. I was only checking what she had written. Edgy Poo, you believe me, don't you? I was only trying to help out, like the angel I am. It's only one little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before. You really should come with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine. That is good. I'm gonna steal that. You really should come with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine. Classic. Yeah, Baba Is You was awful for streaming because of backseating, but I loved every minute of it. Wahaha 9000. Well, it was only a piece of paper. I suppose we can overlook this once. She looks really sorry. She looks like she's really sorry. Should I forgive her? No. Like, this is clearly a pile-on more pressure situation, right? Like, why would you ever let her up? And where's the camera? Photos on the camera? If I let her up now, she'll get away. I have to find some way of inflicting a deafening blow to the prosecution. Witness? You said that the only thing you stole was that note. Is this correct? Stole? Why didn't you listen more carefully, you annoying brat? I saved this piece of paper from a terrible lonely trash can, that's all. You're lying, damn it, and I can prove it. Are you putting my credibility under scrutiny again? It's already gone. Like, what credibility? Miss Old Bag. I don't believe the note is the only thing you stole that night. Present the camera again.
Take that!
Miss Old Bag. That note was with a camera inside its case, wasn't it? A camera. Yesterday, Lotta Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying something like, "My sweetie, $1,600 camera disappeared on me, y'all." Why, what? Witness? What is it, Gramps? If you have the note, then it's only logical you have the camera too. Grr. Looks like you found me out again, Sonny. Is this the camera you're looking for? That's... Even though I look like this, I'm still a person, you know. I still eat meals like you. I fall in love and borrow things from people. I think your definition of borrow is a little off. I saw that woman's business card and that's when I noticed it said Slimebag Celebrity Photographer Extraordinaire. Well, when I saw that, I had to know what sort of pictures she had taken. I'm a professional security guard. It's my business to know these things. No, it's not. Bailiff. Check this camera's photos. Hurry. Oh, Mr. Edgelord, what do we have? There is only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case. Please present it to the court. This is the Nickel Samurai. Now we're looking at the photo to see if there's anything out of place. Hard to tell. Legs crumpled at the bottom, does that mean anything? Probably not. I don't think it's crumpled, it might just be the mountainside. See, I told you, that's the guy I saw. But again, the gloves. Where's the knife? This proves that the witness was not lying earlier about this matter. Well, she was. She said he was wearing the jacket. What does all this mean, Mr. Edgelord? This photo by itself does not prove that the person in it is a defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. On Guard clearly stated that, yeah, there's no blood as well. At the time of the murder, he was still in his nickel samurai costume. Yeah, if that is the case, then this nickel samurai is the defendant. How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We have examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright? The court will consider them before we close. Do you agree that this photo is decisive evidence against your client? If this photo really is decisive, then we're done for. But if I raise an objection here and blow it, I put Maya's life in jeopardy. Can't make a mistake here. There's only one road out of this mess. This photo that Lotta took, there's... well, we have to pick something strange with it. There's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming, right? Your thoughts, Mr. Edgelord? I think we can all agree there is nothing strange with this photo. There's no way for the defense to debunk this photo even with a bunker buster. Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright? Sure. Anyway, please look at the photo one more time. If you really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo, then you should only need one chance, correct? They're really emphasizing this one chance option. Well, I have to find something wrong with this photo. I can't let this chance go by. Where the heck did she take this photo from anyway? It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot, especially when it counts? Now then, let's hear your objection. What about this photo is strange? Look at this. Okay, so teddy bear on this side, so he is coming out of the victim's room. Which is on this side, so she's standing on the bathroom side, and that's the other hallway side. I think it is the pant crumple. It's someone really short. I don't think these were super long pants that are supposed to be dragging like in the Steel Samurai.
Take that!
I'd like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here. What are you pointing at? His ankles? Why is it taken from such a low angle? It's a tabloid photographer she was hiding. It'd be, if you could see this person's ankles, that would be one thing. However, you can't. And what does that mean? The costume person in this photo could not have been Mr. On Guard. What is the meaning of this?
Objection!
I wonder if you would care to elaborate with actual facts, that is. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai's poster. Let's pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of that Hakama. His socks. You can see his socks. Exactly. However, in this photo, Nickel Samurai is clearly holding up his karma just to walk. There is only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. Yeah, clearly. Alright, I think I've turned things around myself this time. I hope so, Phoenix. That's curious. Huh? What is? Edgelord is unusually calm today. That's true. He's just letting the trial run itself, as if he's only along for the ride. I mean, can you blame him if he's only along for the ride? I would be too. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? I'll show you later, Phoenix. I can only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. Yeah, he's just prosecuting because he's prosecuting. Not, it's a battle between him and us. He doesn't feel under attack. And I haven't damaged his case at all. Ooh, well, that could be it as well. Unless he's learnt to be, you know, a good prosecutor and not a jerk prosecutor. I'm hoping he's learnt not to be a jerk. Mr. Edgelord, where does this leave us? The person in this photo is not Matt and Guard. Everything in the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless. I figured it would come to this. What? Right, I have something I want to ask you. I think you've proven that the person inside this costume is not Matt on Guard. In that case, who is this a photo of? I don't know. Who is the person wearing the Nickel Samurai costume, and what does it matter? I mean, the only other person is Adrian, but... Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. What you should be focused on is Edgelord's attitude, don't you think? Yeah, why is he so calm? No, I don't think that's an issue. I mean, the only other person is Adrian. I mean, it could be no, Powers is tall, right? And there's no reason for Powers to be in this murder anyway. Like, there's just no one else in this. I mean, unless it's this guy. He wouldn't be wearing the costume, though. Like, there really is no one else. Adrian Andrews. If you want to know who that Nickel Samurai is, it's none other than this woman. And why would you say it must be Miss Andrews? What in the world points you to her? For starters, she's short. And she can freely move in and out of Mr. On Guard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. On Guard that night. And how does that all add up? It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. On Guard's fingerprints all over it. The knife that was used as a murder weapon. The issue is, like, wouldn't On Guard notice? He must have been asleep. She must have drugged him or something. Because she's wearing the thing that he said he was wearing. I have to do this now. This is my last chance to turn things around. The defense moves to indict Miss Adrian Andrews in the murder of Juan Corrida. Now, that's the first time he's put it like that in any of the cases. He's just got them to... Well, they've always been on the stand, I guess. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime. Order? Order! Looks like this trial has hit a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgelord? Yes, Your Honor. This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. A verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony. He's like, alright. This is it. This is kind of bad for us. Huh? What do you mean? If Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as a witness, it means that the trial will go on for another day. Oh yeah, we had 1 day. One more day. If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya... Now then, we've set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow. We have to raise an objection here, like it's the only thing we can do. Now then, objection!
Objection!
Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today. He's like, no, I've got a meeting after lunch, and, you know, I want to play golf with my buddies. I can't do that. I abhor wasting such valuable time. Edgelord? Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be him to hold it. Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial. But we cannot continue due to this unexpected development. Unexpected development. I think you underestimate me, Your Honor. What do you mean by that? That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Miss Andrews is all happening according to plan, even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on. What? Hello, Pepper. Come on, up. Sit. With my kiss. Oh, thank you. Good girl. Is that a euphemism, Mr. TNT? I mean, congratulations in certain interpersonal activities you may be looking forward to. What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgelord? Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby. He's like... Oh, a suggestion for the judge after work duties. I thought you were bragging about, you know, with the lead. She is the next witness. Everything was planned out in advance by that man. Somehow, I knew there was no way Edgelord would overlook Miss Andrews. Well, I mean, he's a male. What, mid to late 20s? She's blonde, thin, you know. I mean, she's no Mia, but... pretty sure Edgelord would be interested. Looks like this battle is far from over. Exactly. Very well. We will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgelord. The court will now take a 10-minute recess. Judge has gone out for a quickie. Maybe as you said, to have his bald polished. Save your progress up to this point.